Ladies, gentlemen, friends and fans, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we will be doing the 6 song roundup part 10. Thought I'd take a little break from doing album reviews for a couple of videos. I've got a lot of singles to get through, so we're going to do a few installments of the 6 song roundup and introduce ourselves to some new bands and maybe see what new variations of bands have in store for us now that they're back. So, on today's episode of the 6 song roundup, we are going to be starting off with track number 1, which is the new single, I believe, by Ingested, Rebirth. Yeah, the song is literally 4 minutes and 1 second, which is so irritating. Yeah, no intro at all to this track. It's just straight into business. It's their signature badass sound, really. If you've ever listened to Ingested before, I've listened to a few songs here and there, never a full album. I don't know why. They've never really just been someone that I've sat down and listened to. But the drums really do go hard throughout, and the guitar work is clean and just it vibes along throughout the track. Vocals are deep and crisp and just nasty. So overall, song is very enjoyable. It's really good. If you're looking for something really heavy to listen to, definitely check it out. Moving on, we have a band that was relatively new to me when I checked them out. This is Abysmal Dawn with their track Blacken the Sky, which is 4 minutes and 16 seconds. So this track has the vocals, which in the pretty much the front and center, like that is what they're all about. The instrumentals are just a little quieter. They're in the background a little bit, and it's pretty much like that throughout. Like the stuff is the vocal point, definitely. The vocals are very reminiscent of a lot of bands nowadays, sadly. Like, they're nothing special. But there is a really solid guitar solo at one point in the track, which was really good. But yeah, overall it was a good track, but it wasn't nothing new. Like, it's not something I would rush back to listen to again. Who knows? I could have just chosen one of Abysmal Dawn's weaker tracks, so there's nothing to say that I won't check them out again and hope that they've got something better in their catalogue. Yeah. So, moving on, we have track number 3, which is... Now, I need to make sure I try and get this correct. Mors Principium Est? Valley of Sacrifice Part 1. Now, when I was putting this together, I couldn't actually find Part 1's counterpart. Otherwise, I would have done Part 1 and Part 2 consecutively. But after I'd written this, after I'd wrote it all up, I found Part 2. So, if you want to see Part 2 of Valley of Sacrifice by this band. That will be in part 11 coming up next. So, with that being said, this track is very much in the realms of melodic death metal. Apparently, from what I saw on their YouTube and stuff like that, they're for fans of like Children of Bodom and things like that, which I've heard of, but I've never really gotten into. You know, it's what, like I said, the first track is about 6 minutes and 10 seconds alone with some belting drums. You know, the vocals are kind of spread with a fancy guitar bit between each new set of lines, and eventually towards like the latter part of the song there's like this choir that chimes in and like adds to everything. And yeah, it's definitely an interestingly crafted track, and I'm interested to see what they do on part 2. Sorry about that. I just had a phone call from a number that I don't know, so just had to give that a good old decline. Yeah. Moving on to track number 4, which is by the band Accursed, I think. They're one of these bands that like to use a V instead of a U, so I'm assuming it's Accursed. With their song Relief, which is 5 minutes and 1 second. So this track's guitars hooked me from the start, and they really shone throughout the track, and I quite liked the vocal style of this band as well, who I've never actually heard of prior to doing this. I think they're signed to a record label that I have like notifications on YouTube, where quite often I'll see a name and I'll just go, that'll be cool to review, put it in like the to review folder sort of thing. And when I was doing my Google number generator for like randomly selecting videos, it chose it, so I was like, good choice. You know, the screams were solid belts. We almost had a complete take without a yawn, so if you couldn't tell from that, I've not been up that long. Yeah. I also ended up going to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning because I was watching a film, so yeah. Someone should have told me not to start The King of Staten Island at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I digress. Back to the song review. Yeah, so solid belts. Chorus was clean with a groovy, melodic, nice, really well thought out breakdown at the midpoint. Weirdly, the song ends at the 3-ish minute mark and fades into a soft piano and woman's voice over the last parts, which I wasn't expecting. But with that being said, I definitely so far would recommend this track. I'm going to go out on my way to look up more stuff by this band as well, because I really enjoyed it. And hopefully the rest of their discography is going to be as good as this song. Moving on now to the 5th and semi-final track. We're looking at Poor Stacy featuring Ollie Sykes' Knife Party. 2 minutes, 24 seconds. Yeah. Not really sure how I feel about this. You know, Ollie's part in it, which admittedly is very fucking little, and towards the end starts with some higher vocal lines, and then he does pull out some very good gutturals reminiscent of back when he was like in his fucking like deathcore sort of scene days, which it was nice to see that my man could still fucking do stuff like that. You know, he's really been pulling that sort of stuff out of the bag lately for new projects and features, which is cool. But I definitely don't see myself coming back to this track other than that reason, because as it is, poor Stacy's part, who I don't really know who they are, I've never heard of them before, but their voice, their delivery, the style just did not vibe with me here. I found it very dull, very boring, and yeah, it didn't feel enjoyable for me. We'll leave it at that. So moving on, we have track number 6 by a band called Hurakan, spelled with a K at the end, Hurakan, and their song Void, which is 4 minutes and 46 seconds. So we're rounding this off with the 5th new artist to me here. This track starts very ominously until some beastly, dirty, deep gutturals come up from out of the void, and the track grows as it progresses, really. You know, it finds its footing in the final half of the track, I would say, but even with that, it's worth the look up alone, honestly, because this song really was enjoyable from start to finish. And like I said, the beginning half is okay, but the latter half is really good and is definitely where the band shone through for me. So with that being said, that is our 6 songs rounded up for today. 6 song roundup part 11. Definitely will be following this up, and I will try to get a couple more episodes of this out before I do another album review, just because the album reviews do take a while and I have so many that I want to get through, as well as so many singles I want to get through. So yeah, we're gonna focus on a few 6 song roundups for a while, see what we can get through, see who we can discover. But with that being said, ladies, gentlemen, friends and fans, I will see you in the next video, and stay safe out there.